It's the Fish Florida Show. Your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a very good morning to you out there. If you are here in South Florida, it is a gorgeous day. My goodness. I'm really enjoying some of these days that are coming, that we've enjoyed here, had over the last couple of weekends. Went out this morning, it was about 50 some odd degrees out there, just a real crisp, cool air. Didn't spend a lot of time out there, but I tell you, I had to put a jacket on because I am truly a Florida boy. I could not take with the cold. Not like some of the people that I know. So anyway, welcome to the Fish Florida Show. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. And we are on 8 to 10 a.m. every Sunday morning. A wide variety of ways you can listen to us. You can find us on the fishfloridashow.com. There is a listen live button there. You can go to the LNM Radio Network, Studio A. You can click on that and you can find us there. You can actually, and I'll call it out here in a minute, there's a phone. If you don't have a good data where you're at, but you've got unlimited calling, there's a phone line I'll announce you in a minute. So usually have it in front of me and I didn't put it in front of me, but you can do that. The easiest way I know of to listen to the Fish Florida Show is to download the app. You can download the app. It's free. You can find it in any of the major stores. Download the app, hit the button, and there we are. Every Sunday, 8 to 10 a.m. I try to make it like a family-oriented show. This was a way that my family enjoyed being with each other over the years. I really believe that fishing in my family, in my experience, was a way that our family retained the bonds because to this day, my brother's my best friend. We did a lot. My mom loved to fish. We did a lot of fishing, and we enjoyed that experience all as one. And in the process of that, the bonds that we had, the relationships that we had, I believe became stronger and stronger. My personal belief is there is an outright attack on the family. And this is one of the options that families can do. It doesn't have to be very expensive. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Sometimes you can just fish right from the shore. But you'll enjoy it if you share it with your kids and your kids enjoy it. It's really a one-of-a-kind way to just go out there and relax and get away from everything. Get away from all the technology that's around us every day. Get away from all the noise, if you will. And just kind of sit back and enjoy what God has given us, the water. So this morning I have Pam Worth. Pam, in case you don't know, she is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me on.
She was so kind last week. Was going to go fishing, but then decided she's going to do the show first and then go fishing afterwards. Did you go fishing afterwards?
Yes, we did. Natalie and I went out. We fished off of Cape Coral. With all the wind, the water was pretty muddy and murky, and we ended up catching sharks all day.
Oh my goodness! How big were the sharks?
They weren't that big. I would say I think the biggest was maybe 6 foot, but they were basically little, 2-3 footers. It seemed like.
Wow!
They were biting artificial lures that I had.
Is that common? Do you run into that very often, where sharks will hit the lure?
No. Occasionally, but that area, because of the wind and everything, the water was so torn up.
Oh, I see.
I think they felt the vibration of something going by and they just hit it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I find a lot more sharks in murky water, than I do in clear water, because clear water, I guess they can see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Murky water, they're just using their senses. I.e., all you people who like to fish at sunset when the water's murky, just keep that in mind. Or swim.
I've heard that one of the most dangerous times to be swimming is as the sun goes down and if the water's murky.
That's true.
That the fish will mistake you for food and take a bite out of you. So just keep that in mind. I've heard that from several sources. So I feel that that's relatively accurate. When the sun's beginning to go down, it's going to dusk, and it is bad. And if that combined with murky water, if there's any bait fishing around, you don't even want to be in that kind of an equation. You want to be completely out of the water. But those are not good times to be around. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, let's see, who have we got today? Well, of course, we've got Robert Warner. He's with the Florida Fisherman Magazine. He'll be on here shortly. And by the way, Pam has written for the Florida Fisherman Magazine. She has an article that she has submitted to them. And are you working on another one?
Yep. The first article was on picking out what to do, how to pick out a fishing kayak. And the one I'm working on now is, okay, now you have your kayak. What accessories? How do you get all your gear onto that kayak?
Yeah, these are things that I know I wouldn't think about. It's just give me a thing and let me get out. So we have Robert with the Florida Fisherman Magazine coming on. We have Ray Markham. Ray is an inshore or backwater fishing guide. I found out about Ray through Pam. Pam tells me Ray is a super duper, one of the superheroes out there that's able to really produce. So I'm looking forward to speaking to him. They always share with us. I won't speak for him right now, but I'll tell you that other guests have shared with us some of their little secrets here and there, some of their techniques, and it's always informative. So be looking forward to speaking to him. Mike Simcoe, he's with kitefishing.com. He's a repeat guest. I enjoy having Mike come on. I feel so ashamed when I used to think about kite fishing was a joke. Mike has really straightened me out about that. It's anything but a joke. It's a very serious thing, and it increases the opportunity for you as a fisherman exponentially. You know, and he'll tell us a little bit more about that. Carol with Mermaid Vodka. I hope we're going to get an update. Carol, Mermaid Vodka sponsors the Fish Mavericks. The Fish Mavericks. I don't know if their show is still going. Pam, is the show still going?
I think so.
Where was it? It was on Discovery Channel?
It was on Discovery. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to watch TV.
Yeah.
And the times that we do, it's basically, we've had football.
Yeah. Well, they were. I think they were on the Discovery Channel. I think that their show's still going, but I'm not sure. We're going to get an update on that. Always interesting to have Carol on. She's a fisher woman, if that's the correct terminology. So we'll get her latest on any adventures that she's been on. And then finally, we're going to finish off with Captain Jay Daughtry. He put a post up that you can find. I shared the post on the Facebook page. Well, I'm thinking about it. If you would go to Facebook for us and find us on Facebook, give us a like so you can keep up to date with us. I put a page up there. I put a post up there on the page from Captain Jay. Nice catch, Captain Jay. Nice catch. Some snappers, some dolphin. I don't remember what the other stuff was, but a nice catch on his behalf. So we're going to hear from him, how he caught all those fish, where he was when he caught all those fish, that kind of thing. Kind of get some secrets out there, if you will, some fishing secrets. So I think we have Robert on the line. Robert, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing well.
Is Pam fishing the tournament today, or?
No, it's next weekend.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'll be
didn't know.
down
I
in
know there's
Pompano.
one going on today, so.
No, I'll be in Pompano next weekend. What's going on today?
There's a tournament down there today, but different tournament, I guess. So.
Yeah, I know that there's a big boat sailfish tournament this weekend down there.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I didn't know if it was boats or kayaks, but there's a sailfish tournament in Pompano today. Was at Blowing Rocks Marina yesterday in Jupiter, talking to Captain Tom from Tomcat Charters. Bit of a west wind out there and making it a little rough on the guys, but there's a lot of mackerel in on the beach, so he ended up cruising the beach and just caught a boatload of Spanish mackerel yesterday. He said, really, right off the beach. He said, so any of you guys out there that want to go surf fishing, they're out there.
Wow. Give
Nice.
you an idea.
Yeah, I'm hoping for winds coming out of the west next weekend to make the launch off the beach and coming back on the beach a little easier, trying to knock down some of those breakers.
Yeah, it does. It just it moves the bait fish around so badly. He said that it was, the west wind blows everything closer in, and he said it just makes it difficult because they caught a sailfish first thing in the morning. He said a couple of tuna. He said, and then the wind picked up, and he said the fish just sort of vanished chasing the bait. So he said the closer they got to the beach, he got on the radio, and he said there was a bunch of guys catching Spanish mackerel, so he took his people in there, and they ended up with a boatload of them. But up and down the coast, there are sailfish everywhere, I can tell you that. I've got sailfish coming in from Daytona all the way down to the Keys. So
wow. So if I
They're out
remember, you guys were telling me, because I don't know a lot about that. Again, I do this. I learn as I'm doing this. I don't pretend to know it all. But now is the season for the tournaments, for the sailfish tournaments in January. Is that when it all starts?
All the sailfish tournaments are this time of year. Yep.
Yeah.
They're all December and January.
And I can see why. They're all over the place. Wow. Anything on mahi mahi? Anything on the dolphin?
The dolphin I know they're in the Keys because I've got 3 reports from the Keys, all with mahi in them, and a couple of big ones too. But I don't know if they're too much further north right now. But they are definitely down in South Miami, down to the Keys. So.
Wow. Anything about the bottom?
And grouper season is over on the East Coast. So I don't know what the West Coast is, but I know it's over on the East Coast. No gags, no blacks. Yep. And what else did I see a lot of yesterday? The snapper bite's been great, but I'm sure that's good everywhere. This time of year, when it gets cold like this, they come in a little closer, and these cool fronts tend to bring them in. And snapper bite's been great everywhere that I've seen. So
I think the mangrove snapper
out there.
Yeah, I think the mangrove snapper bite's been the best this year that on the West Coast than we've seen in years. It's just been, off the charts.
That's good. Where are they catching them over there?
I can catch them right in the bay. Rocky areas in the bay for mangrove snapper, and you're getting nice 2-3 pound snapper.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. A couple of them are perfect dinner size.
Yes, they are, and they are tasty.
Yeah, and they're little sighters too. Those things, for their size, pack a wallop.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Pam. I know because predominantly, I should say, you fish with lures. So are you fishing lures for these snappers?
Not really. I do have a couple lures that I use that sink slowly and work for them, but usually I'll use sardines or shrimp.
Okay, so am I wrong? But most of the time, do you use lures, or am I incorrect about that?
No, I use lures probably 90% of my fishing time.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's clear. I get ideas in my head. Sometimes there's no telling.
Snook and stuff like that. Lures, I prefer lures too. But snappers, you're better off with cut bait than anything else.
Yeah, I've never been able to catch a snapper on lure. That's why I was asking. I've always used either mullet or shrimp or something of that nature, shiners.
Yeah.
Well, up until about 5 years ago, I had never caught a grouper on a lure, but
wow,
I've done that now. So.
Yeah, I've trolled and caught grouper on lures.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's a new bait out called Chase Bait, and they have a crab and they have a shrimp that is so realistic that people are even catching the banded ones. I just went brain dead.
Wow.
The striped fish. Help me out, Cal.
Oh, sheep's head?
Yeah. And you know how picky sheep's heads are.
Yeah, they steal everything.
Yeah.
they are the best bait thieves in the world.
Exactly. So go look at Chase Bait. They have a cool little crab and a great shrimp out there.
What's it called, Pam?
I wonder
Face?
if their crab will work for permit.
They've caught. If you go look at their Instagram page, you can see the permits that have been caught with Chase Bait.
Okay, I'm not clear about the word. Is it face, like your face?
Chase?
Oh,
No,
fake.
Chase,
Fake.
like Salo. Chase
Like-
Bait.
Fake, like not real.
No, like
Chase,
try to
like
catch me if
running
you
after
can.
you.
Wait a minute, both of you said the same thing. Spell it for me, Pam.
CHASE.
Oh, Chase. Chase Bait.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know that I'm hard of hearing, right?
What?
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, Chase Bait. All right. So, and then what is it? ChaseBait.com?
I don't know. I just I see it on Instagram. Just Chase Bait. If you look for it,
I'm
you
gonna
can
look it up.
probably just Google it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look it up. Have you actually had one of them, or you just seen them?
Oh no, I've used them. They're awesome. It's probably one of the coolest baits out there right now, or artificials out there right now.
So I take it it's made out of some kind of mushy stuff like polyurethane. I don't want to. Anyway, it's made out of some kind of squishy thing. I'm trying to get an idea what this
made
stuff.
out of like a hard plastic.
Oh, it is like a
Matter of
hard
fact,
plastic.
I'm I'm going to bring some of the squid. They have a chase bait squid.
Mm-hmm.
I probably shouldn't have said that on the radio, but I'm bringing some next weekend because you can only use circle hooks.
Uh-huh.
So I've got a jig head that's a circle hook, and I'm going to put the chase bait squid on that and just see how that goes.
So
See if I can get a tuna.
it's a hard
That
plastic.
should work.
Pam, you were saying, okay. I just envision this thing as, I call it polyurethane. It may be something else, but this is squishy stuff, you know. I've seen a lot of lures that are made out of it, like some of the shrimp lures that you see. They're made out of that.
DOAs and,
Yeah. So I kind of
Yeah.
thought in my mind it was along that line. So it's hard plastic. Does it get torn up? I mean, I would think that the first time a fish hits it, it tears it up.
It's
It
made
can
out
get
of the
torn
same
up.
stuff that, like Z-Man or 3X shrimp. It's made out of a harder compost or, product.
Mhm.
It's originally out of Australia, and they have some toothy creatures over there. So it's based out of Australia.
Yeah, they do everywhere on land and sea.
Be nice, Robert. My cousin just visited me from Australia, and yeah, he was here for just a couple of days. He had to go do something. He was here on business. He came here to do something for a couple of days and was passing through Florida and said, "Hey, I'm going to come pass through Florida." That's the first time I've seen him in like 10 years. I get to see him a lot. Anyway,
Yeah,
so you just reminded me of that. Oh, my goodness. Anything else you want to share with us, Robert?
Well, that's about it for the morning. Like I said, snapper bites great everywhere. Sailfish are out there. There's Spanish mackerels off the beach, so lots of fishing to be done.
Do you know what they're catching the mackerel with?
He was catching, he said just about anything he was using yesterday,
Wow.
from yellow jigs to cut bait, everything worked. So,
Wow. That sounds like when we hit a school of dolphins. You could throw a raw hook out there. If it was shiny enough, they'd hit
well,
it.
yeah, when Spanish mackerel are in a school like that, you can throw anything. You probably just throw the hook out there, quite honestly. But if you
So-
got a shiny enough hook, they'll hit that. So,
Yeah, if we see them schooling up, I always yell, "Throw something shiny! The shiniest thing you have, throw it now!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
panic.
pretty
Do it
much.
now. Yeah, I remember those days.
But,
Crazy.
if anybody's out there, the next issue is on flats fishing, billfish, and we've included diving because I've got a lot of people that have told us that we've never covered anything on diving. So we're covering flats fishing, billfish, and diving in the next issue. If anybody's got anything, send it to pages@flfishmag.com.
Hey, Robert, you mentioned diving, and prior to the show, Pam and I were discussing. You think you can get one of them to give me a call or get me in contact with one of them? I'd like to have one of them on the show, give us their input for what's going on down at the bottom of the ocean. What they're seeing down
Yeah,
there.
actually, Laura Petrie is one of our editors for the magazine, and I will get her to get in touch with you if I can find her if she's not diving. So.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, because I thought I had somebody, but it didn't work out. They're not responding. They're not calling back. And I think sometimes when we contact these people, they think the first thing they want, it's a show. They want money. It's not for money. It's for something a little more interesting, a little more important, and something interesting, something for the listeners to hear, and an update. Like we get updates from you, the different things that are going on around the state. I'd like to hear from somebody who's down there in the water, down there that's on actually at the bottom, and seeing what's going on. We see this, we see that. So if you can, that'd be great, because I think it would be interesting for the listeners to hear a perspective from somebody who's going down there and seeing what they're seeing down there.
Yeah, it's interesting. They see a lot of stuff that we never see, and I'll get them to explain yo-yo fishing to you. So,
Yo-yo. Yo-yo.
That's our hottest selling reel is a yo-yo.
I know yo-yo.
what's that?
I know yo-yo because I grew up in Miami.
Yeah.
A yo-yo is that round thing you're talking about, the spool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they swim down with it.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, we have to talk about that. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
But I will get in touch with you throughout the week there, and we'll get it. We'll try to get her on there next weekend.
Well, thank you, Robert. Any parting words for Robert, Pam?
No, just great job. I really loved your call-ins. You're excellent. I appreciate it. And how
Well,
do
I love
do-
your article in the magazine too. So you did a great
Thanks,
job.
thanks. Did we get that? How to reach you? How to submit photos?
Oh yeah, let's
to
do that, Robert. People, just so the people know, Robert will consider your entry or whatever you want to call it into the magazine if you want to submit it to him. How do they do that, Robert?
They just send it to pages@flfishmag.com.
flfishmag.com. Robert, it's that time. Thank you so much for calling in. God bless you, my friend. It's a beautiful day. Have a wonderful day, my friend.
You too, guys. Have a great day.
Is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The views and opinions expressed on the L&M Radio Network solely belong to those who make them and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the L&M Radio Network or our affiliates and advertisers.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it. L&M Radio Network, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my!
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my friends out there, we are back. Thank you. I mean that. Thank you for taking the time to listen in. It is always an honor and a privilege to have you take the time to allow us to share with you. Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we're serious. We try to be on the light side. But really, for me, it's about trying to find something for families to do as a family, to hold the families together. For me, it's about families. And this is one of the ways that my family stayed together, was my family went fishing quite a bit. It wasn't so much for the food. We enjoyed the seafood. That was like the icing on the cake, if you will. It was for the activity. It was for going out there and enjoying each other's company and experiencing the same thing at the same time with each other and building those relationships. That's to me, that's one of the most important things that we can do as people in a free land. So with me this morning, I have Pam Worth. Pam, of course, she is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. Always brings an interesting perspective. She's literally at the water's level, and always an honor and a privilege to have you on, Pam. Thank you, Pam. I really do appreciate you taking the time every Sunday to call in, and sometimes she's even here in the studio with me, but I do appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you. I enjoy the show. I enjoy letting people know what's going on in the state of Florida.
We try to give out, we've talked about a wide variety of subjects, anything from, the red tide. We've had the serious problem with red tide a while back. We had a marine biologist on. We had an activist on. Trying to get the information out there because the water's important to us. Those of us who love fishing, what are we going to do if the water gets so bad that we can't go fishing? So I think it helped a little bit with the reports that keep coming in. Seem to be that it's getting better and better. Of course, there's some reasons for that. Part of it is the cooling down and everything, reducing the algae. But I think at least that some people who are in authority have heard that. They've gotten a word. I've heard that Ron DeSantis, our new governor, has made a statement about he's very concerned about the environment. Hopefully he'll follow through on that. The way that these things get accomplished is by somebody tooting the horn, if you will. So, and we did that. So we've talked about that. We've talked, oh my goodness, we've talked about fishing on the bottom. We've talked about fishing, pulling plastic. We've talked about using artificial baits versus real baits, what kind of line to use. So we try to give you, the listener, something interesting. And again, it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg to do this. Fishing can be very inexpensive in comparison to other things, can be very inexpensive. And it's something that you all enjoy together. So one of the things that I enjoy about doing this show is I have a wide variety of people that come on. And my next guest, Ray, he's a fishing guide. And I'm sure he's going to share with us some of his experiences. But the reason I like having these people on is they will tell us, they will share with us some of their techniques and stuff like that. So those of us like me who are really amateur at this learn. I always learn. I'm not kidding you. With every show that I do, I always learn something. So, Ray, good morning, sir. Welcome to the Fish Florida Show.
Good morning. How are y'all doing this morning?
Go ahead, Pam.
I think we're getting, I heard a little feedback. Sorry about that. Good morning, Captain Ray Markham. So glad to have you on. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, Pam. What's all going on in your end there?
Hey, are you on the water today?
I am not. I'm sitting here talking to you on a radio.
Well, Ray, we have had times when people are out there on the water, literally out there fishing. And one of them may be Mike Simcoe this morning. There's been several times Mike has called in. He's been on one of those big boats, we'll call it. And they're fishing, and he's calling in and what's going on. So it's not unusual. Pam has called in while she's been on the water as well.
Yeah. Well, I've done that a gazillion times. And in fact, for about 12 years or so, I was co-host of a show out of Tampa. And at times when I was fishing tournaments and whatnot, my partner on the radio show was in the studio. I'd be calling in, literally just have my phone in my top pocket while I was fishing, so we could have a live conversation and listen to drag screaming and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm sure there were a few bleeps that had to be deleted out of there with the 7-second delay that we had going on, but it was always fun. And yeah, as far as calling in, usually I try to take weekends off these days. And for guys that are really trying to book trips, I really do recommend they try and fish during the week when the majority of the people are not on the water.
Yeah.
It just does affect the fishing so much when you have a lot of people running around on the flats in shallow water. Water carries great distances. I mean, the sound carries great distances on the water. And so it just adds to the difficulty factor. If people have an experience that they don't feel is that good, a lot of the times the reason is because of that. And, you can't make fish eat, but I mean, the biggest thing is just getting in front of a fish that is unaware of your presence. And so there's a whole lot of things I preach while I'm fishing and having people on the boat that they do. And quiet is one of them. And if you're fishing out of a boat, I really do try and get people to make the longest distance cast they can make, because even the best boat built, I don't care what the cost is for the boat, whether it's, a $200 John boat or $60,000, $70,000 flats boat, there is going to be some kind of waves or hull slap coming off a boat. So, and essentially you got people that step down from like the casting platform onto the deck. What they don't necessarily realize that every move they make on that boat, it's going to create a pressure wave, and that wave is going to go away from the boat. And fish, having lateral lines, they feel all of that. And once they know that there's something there that might be of harm to them, it puts them on guard. And so instantly you have a situation where the fish may or may not eat because of that. So, there's just so many little variables that make fishing easier, and one of them is just stealth. Guys that like to get out of the boat and wade fish, that's probably about as stealthy as you can get, other than what Pam's doing. I mean, she's sitting there ghosting along on the flats with a kayak.
She is, yeah.
And that's a terrific way to fish.
What is the average depth of the water that you fish in?
Probably 2 to 3 feet.
So what you're saying with regard to being quiet and being careful how you move about the boat, is that also true for deeper water, or is that really primarily for the?
It's not as true for deeper water for certain, because if you look at the habitat, fish being in shallow water, they're much more wary. They're a lot spookier, because there are just things, for instance, like birds of prey. You've got osprey that fly around, and if they're in shallow water, they know they're our target. Because I mean, if they're sitting in 10 feet of water, they know those birds aren't going to dive down and get them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something. But then they have to deal with other predators like dolphins. It's kind of a catch-22. No matter where you are, there's going to be a predator that wants to eat that target that you're after. So you have to understand all those things, and you have to put your mind in the same position that fish is in. What would I do if I was a fish? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and when you're fishing, and what I understand is, we called it inshore. Is that the correct term, inshore fishing?
Well, sure. I mean, there's a lot of different terms for it. Inshore, backcountry, depends on the kind of fishery that you're in. Inshore for a lot of people, but you talk to guys that are fishing offshore, out in the Gulf or something.
Right.
To them, inshore is either just in the bay or on the shore, near the shoreline.
Yeah, that's what I'm
beaches.
thinking. Yeah.
To me, that's not inshore. I mean, inshore is inside, for instance, like the boundaries of where the mouths of the bays go out into the Gulf and the oceans and that kind of thing.
Kind of flats fishing is another term.
Well, sure. I mean, flats fishing to me, a flat is definitely something that's a shallow area. I mean, certainly there are going to be potholes. There's going to be like runoffs, little, if you will, almost like little teeny creeks that come off of a shallow area and lead to either channels or deep holes or things like that. And those are all escape routes. the tide comes and goes out of all the bays. Tampa Bay is primarily where I fish, Tampa Bay south to Sarasota Bay. And when you have negative tide days, in other words, tides that drop below the mean low water line, there are places on the flats that are going to be bone dry. There's not going to be any water on that flat. And it's especially so in the wintertime. Our tides, as a general rule, are lower in the winter months than they are during the summer and spring and fall months. Just time of year has something to do with it. And one of the things that is a real big factor in those tides are cold fronts. When a cold front comes, it approaches pushing water up into the bay, making the tides higher than the predicted levels. And that's basically because the wind comes out of the south. And when that south wind blows, it creates friction on the water and it pushes water up inside the bays. And as that front starts passing, the wind direction moves. It moves to the northwest and then the north and northeast. And that is the opposite direction of where the tides generally flow into the bays. So in other words, what that's doing, it's going to create a situation that really pushes water and flushes it out of the bay. So if you spend enough time on the water doing absolutely nothing but observing, you're probably going to learn more than if you're standing there with a fishing rod in your hand. You need to watch what's going on the flat. Look where those shallow areas start to become exposed and keep watching to see where the deep water is. I mean, on shallow days where it's negative low tides, you'll see things that are exposed that you won't see when the tide's up. I mean, there'll be all kinds of obstructions. There might be fallen down trees that suddenly are exposed. And fish relate to a lot of those things. But if you look on that flat, wherever it's dry, and see the places left that have water, those are going to be the places that fish start to drop off as that tide begins to go out. And what they're going to do is they're going to follow a trail of water that's deeper than the surrounding area until it gets off to a deep water area, like a channel. And those areas where that channel intersects with that little run out are going to be the places that you want to key in and be at when you know there's a predicted tide that's going to be lower than the mean low water. So those fish have to come off the flat somewhere, and typically they use those little highways, little travel places that come off of that flat, and they come off at that point. So if you can either situate yourself, anchor, power pole down, whatever you do, put a stick in the ground and wait, those fish will come to you. Wow. But you got to be quiet. And that's why I say to guys, I mean, don't move around on the boat a lot. You know, you can cast, you can do all that kind of stuff. If you just cast towards the areas that those fish are coming off, they'll come right to you. I mean, we've had plenty of days where we'll sit, and I run a Minn Kota iPilot. And so essentially without putting an anchor down or, you know, rattling chains or boat or anything else, I situate myself a long distance cast away from those areas where those points come out. And it's just like shooting fish in a barrel sometimes.
Ray, what species do you most commonly catch?
Well, it kind of depends on the time of year, but I mean, it's like, it's cyclical: snook, trout, redfish, flounder, cobia, tarpon, jacks, ladyfish, lizardfish.
Pretty round, yeah, pretty well rounded, yeah, pretty well.
You name it, we get it. I mean, I've caught some world record lizardfish at times, and they do fight. But actually, I don't know if the world record's been broken, but there was a fella who used to own 12-fathom jigs locally in the Tampa Bay area who was co-holding the record with another fella down at Inglewood, I believe. Todd Staley, and Todd's out in a Costa Rican a place that he's running a lodge. So we still communicate every now and then. I sent him a picture of a big lizard fish, and he says, "You're the king." I said, "No way," because I could have broken the record and sent it in. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna let you keep it."
There you go. Wow. And do you like your preference of bait? Is it artificial or is it natural?
I use strictly artificial baits. Growing up, I fished doggone near everything I could get my hands on. I've had a field testing business now since I was in my 20s, and somewhere in that realm when I was growing up, and I fished a lot with my father and a lot of his friends, and we went offshore, we went inshore, we did everything. And I fished live bait and natural baits, and live bait, natural bait, obviously are the same thing, but I also fish lures. My grandfather had a lot of contacts in the fishing industry, and there were guys like the Heddens and the Shakespeares, and all the big manufacturers that he did a lot of things for. Had patents on different kinds of reel seats and whatnot, and he used to get things that were pretty unusual. Actually, they were prototypes of lures and rods and reels and things that you'll never see. You'll never see them on the market because they were never sold. They may have scrapped an idea, but it's crazy that there's so many lures that are not even in existence anymore on the selling floor, but they were absolutely terrific lures. And you can catch fish on any kind of lure if you have the right technique. Pam is a very good artificial fisherman, fisher lady, whatever you want.
Fisher person.
But she's done an excellent job with that. But she does fish a little bit of both. Is that right, Pam?
Yeah, every now and then I'll have live or cut bait, but mostly lures. I've learned a lot from your seminar, so I appreciate the teaching that you do, Ray.
Oh, so he teaches too. Wow.
Well, I mean, anytime you give a seminar, everybody comes there with the hope of going away with some kind of information that'll make them a better fisherman, or maybe, help them work a lure differently, or cast without backlashing a reel or something, And wow. I go to seminars. I go to a lot of seminars. There's a lot of I call them kids, and the kids at my age. I'm 68 now.
Welcome to my world.
I don't look at myself like that, but you're never too old to learn.
Amen.
And I distinctly remember my grandfather telling me one time we were out in the boat fishing, and he says, I kept asking him questions. He says, there's one thing that you can always keep, but you can give away. Do you know what that is?
Time.
And I said, what? He says, your knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can do that and, help people coming up, and especially kids, every child has a quest to learn. And they're curious. They want to know. They ask a lot of questions. They may not retain everything, but, I remember things now that I growing up in my, early years, I never thought were significant, but they somewhere got caught in the back of my mind, and one day you're sitting around reminiscing or thinking, you're getting old when you say, I remember when. And so I start thinking about these things, and I thought, you know what? My dad was a pretty smart fellow.
That's when you know.
He didn't have instruments. Today the electronic world is just ridiculous with how easy it can make an individual fish and catch fish and be successful.
This is
if
true.
they understand what they're doing with the equipment.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. If I give you a rod and reel and you don't know how to cast, it's not going to do you any good.
That's true.
That's
true.
So,
well, Ray, I'm about out of time, Ray, but before we go, I wanted to, if people want more information from you, if they want to maybe use your services, how do they do that?
Well, I have a website. Anybody can access. It gives a little background information on myself, phone numbers, email addresses, etc. And it's Captain, you spell the word out, Captain Ray Markham, MARKHAM.com.
All right. Ray, I'm going to have you back on.
Florida Sportsman Magazine. All my contact information's in the back because I write for Florida Sportsman in the West Central Action Spotter section.
Okay.
Or they can go to floridasportsman.com. Each week I do a weekend fishing forecast that's posted typically by Thursday or Friday. And they can check that out as well. That's floridasportsman.com and the West Central Forecast. So
excellent. Ray, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to call in. We went a little bit over. We're going to skip the normal break that we take at this time. We went a little bit over because what you were saying was so interesting, and I wanted to hear it. I didn't want to cut you short. I'm looking forward to having you come back on. Would you be willing to come back on and give us an update of some of the things that are going on?
sure, it's difficult if I am on the water, but I'll be more than happy to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ray. Greatly appreciate it. Pam, anything you want to tell him before we let him go?
No, I just wanted to thank him. And again, everybody, that's Captain Ray Markham, one of the top,
right.
especially with artificial anglers here in the state of Florida.
Thank you, Ray. God bless, and wish you a wonderful. It is a gorgeous day. Go out there and enjoy it, my friend.
I'm working on it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, folks, that is Ray Markham, and you can find him, if I remember right, it's Captain Ray Markham on the web. He is a guide. He is also a teacher. That's very nice to know that. That's something that I enjoy about people who take the knowledge that they have and share it with other people. It's one of the greatest gifts I believe that we can give each other is to share that knowledge. And one of my next guests, he does exactly that. Sometimes I feel a little embarrassed because I always thought using a kite to fish with was kind of silly. Come to find out, it's not silly at all. It's pretty serious stuff, and it can really boost your opportunity to catch fish. So my next guest will tell us a little bit about that. His name is Mike Simcoe, and he's with kitefishing.com. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Riscala and Pam. How you guys doing?
Very good. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a little low.
This phone between speakers and earbuds, it's hard to figure it out. But hey, okay, I'll speak a little louder.
There you go. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, doing great. You caught me right in the middle of sailfish season. The cold fronts are coming through. It's just been a fantastic time to fish. I had a chance to get on the water yesterday, and shake some rust out of the old boat. We had a great day.
They've been telling me, I had Robert Warner on. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine earlier, and he was saying there's sailfish action all up and down the coast. So you're kind of verifying that. How far out are you going?
Well, we yesterday, because we had a week full of easterly breeze on the southeast coast of Florida, it pushed the fish in a little more shallow. So the best of it was, midweek until yesterday morning around 80 feet deep, which in the Palm Beach area is only about a mile and a half offshore.
That's not very far. Wow. So they're pretty close.
So that was great. And then the front kind of ripped through yesterday morning just as we were going out. 7:30 it was pushing through. So we had the clouds and the cool weather came in. And just as soon as it passed, the fish turned on and we just had action all day. I fished half day yesterday. We're getting ready for the Silver Sailfish Derby this week, so it was kind of a pre-fishing day. My captain friends up and down the line were feeding me reports. I was feeding them reports, and we found the bite was pretty consistent from Fort Pierce all the way down to Boynton Beach. With folks having a couple to 4 shots in the morning.
Wow.
We were lucky. We had six by noon. We caught 3 of those. Yeah, we caught 3 of the 6, which isn't a great ratio, but that's all part of shaking off the dust from the off season.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get that figured out by the middle of the week.
So did I hear you say 6?
Yeah, we had 6 sailfish. We had a big wahoo at the boat, but
wow.
We're using very light leader. I use really light fluorocarbon leader and a circle hook. So we fought the thing for 25 minutes, got it right almost within gaff range, and he shook his head and
oh my
goodness, one of his teeth nicked it clean. But it was a beauty. Probably 45, 50 pounds.
Wow.
What size leader do you run?
I always like to get more bites. So we'll go very light, Pam, and I try to go sometimes as light as 30-pound fluorocarbon, and even pink Andy works great too, but 30-pound test. Generally speaking, that's pretty light.
Well, I usually run 40. Maybe next weekend I'll put one rod out there with 30.
Well, you know, if you're using circle hooks, I think you're not going to see too much of an issue with it because, you know, if they bite right and they basically you hook them in the corner of the mouth, that reduces the chafing and we get away with that light leader. So I like that part. I like the part of getting a little bit more bites with a little more discreet, you know, terminal time.
Yeah, well, we do. We follow what IGAF, whatever. We follow those rules on our sailfish tournament, you know, with a 15-foot leader, you know, circle hooks, the whole bit. And we have the help boats that help bring the, you know, get the fish back aerated and safely released.
Nice. Very nice.
Pam?
Yeah, we were talking about you. We were talking about you on the boat yesterday. We couldn't figure out how the heck you get offshore and get these sailfish to bite in a kayak. I mean, we need. My boat keeps growing. It's 35 now, but I mean, I fish a bunch of bigger boats, and we can't get enough tackle on a big boat.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Well, you know, I'm writing an article on how to get the tackle on your boat. That's so funny. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We'll be at Pompano next weekend, so I may give you a call come Friday and find out how far out the fish are, because I'm not going to get a chance to pre-fish. I'm just going to hit the tournament cold.
Yeah, our boundaries. I think the southern boundaries of the Silver Sailfish Derby are somewhere around. They might be pushing to Pompano. I'm not sure. Boca to Port Everglades maybe, but generally speaking, in the 2-day tournament, we can figure out where the best of it is. So I'll get you dialed in.
Pam, I know that you said that this is a sailfish tournament you're going. Is this just kayaks or is it kayaks and boats?
This is just ours is just kayaks. It's called the Extreme Kayak Tournament. Joe was on last week.
Oh, yes.
So yeah,
Okay. Yes.
It is just kayaks. We launch off the beach right next to the pier in Pompano Beach.
Wow. Well, if I can...
We'll be launching... I'm sorry.
It's Saturday and Sunday, or is it just Sunday?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. Mike, your tournament's the whole week, or the whole weekend too, correct?
No, we our fishing days are Thursday the 9th, Friday the 10th. I think it's Thursday and Friday either way, and then the awards banquet Saturday, which is a great format because once upon a time we used to go to the awards banquet the last day of the tournament. You were completely beat. Now we get a day of rest and pretty nice.
Well, it's nice too because you're not out there competing with the weekend warriors either, so that makes it nicer for you.
Yeah,
that's true. But I'll tell you, in Palm Beach, what you figure out is during season, which is now Thanksgiving till Easter, you find that every New Yorker, usually retired folks that's got a second home in a boat down here, they're fishing all week long. There's no weekend, all weekend.
You know what you remind me of? Years ago. I call them boat ramp stories. Years ago, when we would go out, weekends were the worst time for us because of course, me, like the majority of the people, had to work Monday through Friday, and I couldn't take the time off, so I'd have weekend was what was left. So we'd go out on the weekends. The most horrifying stories, sometimes comical, but sometimes really scary, was there at the boat ramp. It was something that could take an entire show to tell you about. So I'm just thinking about that as you guys are mentioning this, the weekend warrior stuff and all that. Yeah. It can definitely add some stress to something that's not supposed to be stressful at all.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great thing too.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I was at Cape Canaveral last weekend. And I'm really glad I did the show. There was like fist fights out there. There was a line of 35 cars waiting, or trucks waiting to hit the ramp. And if somebody took too long, it was crazy. They even had the port officials out there making sure everybody kept moving.
It gets aggravating. So some of these people are, I can't say now, but I can say from my experience years ago. You know how some people shouldn't have something? Some of these people shouldn't have a boat. They don't know how to back the boat up. They don't know, common care for other people that are there. They back the boat into the water. They tie it up to the dock. They load the boat up while it's still at the dock while everybody's waiting instead of having the boat preloaded and ready to go, that kind of thing. And it's aggravating because people want to get in and want to get out and want to go.
Yeah, I got a funny story about that if we have a second. Where I live, my marina is, we got some limitations on the length of the boat, so I think it's 37 feet. And my boat was just, at the time I moved in here 8 years ago, it was just on the limit of that, maybe a couple inches bigger because I had a bow pulpit on the boat. Well, across the canal was one of those boat rental places where, the people would come out, buy their membership. And just as I was arguing with the community about, it's only a couple inches and geez, let's figure out a way to make this work. A guy pulls the boat out of the marina, thought he was in forward, was really in high-speed reverse, rips the bow pulpit right off that boat, and that solved that problem.
Neat discussion.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Boat ramp stories are.
It could have been worse.
Oh my goodness, I've seen some really crazy things at the boat ramps. Anything from a guy dropping his sailboat down at John Pennekamp. I don't know if you've ever seen the ramps at John Pennekamp, but the thing is like 45 degrees. It's a really steep boat ramp, and this guy looked like a brand new BMW, backed it up, and apparently was manual, and backed it up and put the parking brake on. When he got out of the car wasn't moving. But I guess the constant stress and the weight of the thing, he got onto the dock and had the ropes to the boat in his hand, and before he knew it, the car started to go backwards, started moving backwards. He couldn't get to the car in time. Ended up the boat was in the water, the car was in the water. It was pretty. I felt bad for the guy first because it looked like a new car, and it's salt water. It's gone. It's done for.
Yes, exactly.
So, Mike. Let's see. We've got sailfish. Anything else that's going on? You mentioned wahoo. I think Robert said there's a little bit of dolphin action going on.
That's the dolphin action is going to kind of slide through as they migrate to the south.
Mm-hmm.
That will continue, but we've had a little bit of a slower week on that this week. The prior month and a half was really outstanding. But of course, this time of year, there's always a good catch of mahi. There is a great bottom fish bite. So what's really a fun thing to do is if you get the kites up and you have your live baits dangling downwind of the boat, you can drift, and as you're crossing the reef, fish the bottom on the other side of the boat. We do that quite often.
Wow.
Or we'll just put a knocker rig with a triple hook. Dead sardine, could be anything. Last weekend I caught a 10-pound mutton by doing that. Yeah, with a live gog on the bottom. And it's just outstanding fishing, top to bottom.
Wow. That literally is covering it top to bottom, isn't it? That's a great idea.
Well, there's 3 dimensions. I think there's 3 dimensions to fishing, and you really can't let any of them get by you if you want to maximize your chances.
Wow. Well, Mike, if people want... I'm sorry, Pam, go ahead.
Go into a little detail about what you mean by 3 dimensions?
Well, I just mean that, quite often you'll see, the one trick, we call it like a one-trick pony, where you go out there and you put the kites up, and kites generally will keep that bait in an ideal situation. You keep it very close to the surface. They're struggling, and those pelagics will sense that struggle of the bait fish and then attack. But, if you're in 150 feet of water right over the reef edge, and you don't try to get down there, listen, how many times are you fishing kites and you'll see marks at 50 feet? Those fish are great targets too. The sailfish don't necessarily hit that. They're not working that top 10 feet of the water. So we do try to get baits deeper, mid-range, all the way to the bottom. You never know what you're going to catch.
So top, mid-range, and bottom is the 3 you're talking about?
Yeah, listen, there's ways, I basically do a thing where if we have a weight on the line, so we're trying to get deeper, you just put your rod tip to the water and lift it up and approximate 10 feet. So you lift it up, you got 10 feet. Do it a second time, 20 feet.
Mm-hmm.
You start marking fish at 50 feet 5 times, you're right in the middle of it.
Wow.
You can do that with vertical jigs. You can do that with, knocker rigs. So that's what we do. We mark fish. We try to get to them. And if we don't mark any, we'll just try to set at those different levels. And, once again, try to maximize your chances.
All right, my friend. Of course, it's always fun to have you on, and when it's fun, the time flies, and time has flown, and I've got to take a break. But before I do, if anybody wants to reach you, Mike, if they want more information about what you do, how do they do that?
2 good ways. You go to kitefishing.com, just the way it sounds, My number's on there, and we're trying to constantly update some educational stuff. And Kite Fishing Experts - Mike Simcoe on Facebook.
Excellent. Mike, God bless you. I really appreciate you taking the time to call in. We have got, we're up against the time and we've got to take a break. We'll be looking forward to having you back on. You're always got something very interesting for us, and I greatly appreciate that. Wish you a wonderful day, my friend.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
What happened to the good old days when people were loyal and we all had fun without drama? Where every Saturday morning at 4 a.m. Eastern, we invite you to join Encounters with the Neelys and discuss endless topics and throwbacks of the yesteryears. Bringing back to you retro interactive radio to the fullest. And yes, you got it. It's Throwback Saturdays with your hosts, Dr. Darrell and Dr. Katie Neely, turning back the hands of the father time and bringing people back to a place of peace. So get down, get sassy, and get jiggy with us. Oh, just don't drink while you're listening, because we are not responsible for the damage that comes from spitting it out while you laugh. So join us on Encounters with the Neelys, exclusively on the LNM Radio Network.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Brittany's face is so stupid and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it.
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 Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do. We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
We will let the world know that we're going to take action with the eye.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2,
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. Caught me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, good morning. We are back. It is the top of the hour. Thank you for joining us. It's always an honor and privilege to have you listen in and allow us to share with you some of the things that we come across. Always learning. On my behalf, I'm always learning. I hope that some of you out there are constantly learning from what we, some of the discussions that we have. My guest, my co-host, Pam Worth, one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. Always a pleasure to have her on, bringing a unique perspective. She's right there literally at the water's level. Good morning, Miss Pam, and again, thank you for joining in.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me. Man, this morning, our show's been great. If people missed it, they missed so much. What a great show.
We will have archives set up. The archives are on thefishfloridashow.com. You can go there and find the archives set up there. And I believe the L&M Radio Network may have archives, but you can always find our archives on the fishfloridashow.com. Go there and look for past events, and you'll see the archives there as well. So anything that you've missed, you can always go back and listen to again. This morning I have another guest with me who is very unique because she is not only is she a sponsor of a very popular show, but she's someone who's out there fishing as well. Good morning. And welcome to the show. My gosh, I'm trying to read and talk, and that's not working. Good morning, Miss Carol. I'm trying to look at the clock, look at my notes, and see who the next guest is, and it's not working. Good morning, Carol. I apologize.
No problem. Good morning. Thanks for having me on. I'm so happy to be on the show today and have an opportunity to catch up.
Well, tell me a little bit. And you sponsor the Fish Mavericks, is that right?
We do. Last year, when we launched in February 2018, we had a fantastic opportunity to sponsor the Fish Mavericks on the Discovery Channel. And, I'd like to tell people that, the Fish Mavericks is about fishing, but it's a lifestyle show. It's about a group of guys that just have a great time. They fish, they compete in tournaments, they do fun things to all the destinations that they go to fish. They were in Costa Rica, they were in Florida, Alabama. I mean, gosh, they were all over the place. I don't know how they find time to cover all the ground that they cover, but it's such a fun, a unique, and interesting show, and it really plays to our backbone, which is the reason our brand started was, my passion for fishing and mermaids. So we combined it all into one great product for mermaid vodka. So we love the Fish Mavericks. They're just a great group of guys. They're fantastic to work with, and they really helped us kind of get on the map, so to speak, as a new brand in a very competitive segment, which is the premium spirits segment.
Well, I have had the opportunity to have a taste of this stuff, and I got to tell you, for somebody who's not experienced in this area, it was some of the finest I've ever had. One of the few times in my life I've actually asked for a second serving, but it was really quite impressive, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because it's hard for us, for me particularly, to find a good product out there, regardless of what that product might be. And the way things are today, one of the greatest passions for me is to support small businesses, family-owned, locally run small businesses. In my opinion, this is my personal opinion, this is how we're going to bring America back to where it once was again. It's through the manufacturing process. It's through the small businesses, locally owned, family owned, not these huge, and I don't really have anything against these huge corporations other than they just see you as a number. A small business sees you as part of the family. That's the big difference that I see, because I'm a small business person. My customers are part of my family. When you think about somebody who's a giant corporation, they have hundreds of thousands of customers. You're a number to them. So if something goes wrong, the odds of you being able to resolve it quickly are not as great as with the odds of you being able to resolve it with a small company where, people come to me and go, well, can we do this and can we do that? I don't have to ask 10 people. I go, yes, you can do that. No, you can't do that. And that's what you'll find with a small company. It's what you'll find with somebody like Mermaid Vodka. And I think it's Mermaid Vodka USA. Is that correct?
Our website address is mermaidvodkausa.com.
Yeah, because
all of our information is on there, as well as our merchandise. We have had fantastic success selling our merchandise, which is all sourced locally.
Oh, cool.
We get all of our hats, our shirts, everything that's that we use, all the products we use, the Tervis tumblers. They're all USA made products, and they're all from small business companies. Even though Tervis tumblers is pretty big, they're still a family-owned business based out of Sarasota, Florida, which is where we're headquartered. But to your point, we are family-owned, and we do value each and every customer we have. We enjoy the fact that we're able to interact with people at our tastings and events and hear feedback, and it's all always very positive. And we take it to heart. We take a lot of care in the product we produce. Our product is Florida made. The corn is sourced from a farm up in Jacksonville. And, the distillery is based out of Florida, family-owned distillery. Everything is family-owned, local. So you won't find us, using things that are from other parts of the world or country with one exception. And, that's one that we're trying to get around and find a USA source for. But we take pride in that. We have some exciting news to share. We're actually going to be improving our formula, so I'm not going to put all the information out there yet until we actually have it available on the shelves. But we've taken our fantastic Mermaid Vodka formula, and we've one-upped ourselves.
I don't know how you did that.
Wow.
I don't know how they did that.
If you're going to be at the Jimmy Johnson Billfish tournament this year again,
Yep.
You'll get to taste it there, and it'll be available on the shelves by then as well. But in the meantime, we still have our great formula that we've launched with, and it's something that we take great pride in because it does take extra steps to make it so smooth. We filter it. It's distilled 6 times. It's filtered 6 times. And that's what takes kind of that alcohol.
Really
bite.
really makes the difference. I got to be honest with you. Really makes the difference when we're talking about this. An interesting statistic that I found, when people spend money with local businesses, locally owned, family-owned businesses, the data that I ran across came from the government. They estimate that over 60 cents, in some cases up to 63 cents of every dollar that's spent goes back in to the local area through payroll, through taxes, through whatever. So ultimately, you're helping your local area by dealing with a locally owned, family-owned business. When you buy from these large corporations, the estimate is 40 cents and sometimes even less than that stays in the local area. So you have a choice. You can buy from a locally owned, family-owned run company. A lot of the money that you invest with them, 60-some-odd% of it, will remain in the area one way or another. Or you can go spend your money with a large corporation, and less than half of that will remain in the area. So these are some of the reasons that I support and that I do what I do, because ultimately it benefits everybody. I'm about benefiting everybody, not just myself, because I know that if I benefit others, I will benefit as well. It's kind of a crazy thought for the things that go on nowadays, but there are a lot of people who think like that. I think Carol is one of them who thinks that way. She's out there trying to benefit other people, and in the process of benefiting them, she gets benefit from that. And really, that's the best kind of relationships that we can build, right?
Most definitely. I've always supported small businesses. My family has a history of small businesses. My dad, my brothers, all small family-owned businesses. And, we like to say when you support a small business, you're putting food on someone's table. You're paying for their children's education. You're not buying the CEO's 5th home, fifth vacation home. And while there's nothing wrong with that, and we certainly, you got to have a mix of everybody in business. We like to support, where our heart is, and our heart is in the home with a family business.
So I also know that you do a bit of fishing on your own. Have you been fishing lately?
Well, interestingly enough, if you go to our Instagram page, we had a fantastic day kite fishing yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
Aboard the Texas Wire Line with Captain Tom Oberender. Last September, we donated a half-day fishing charter with me. I wanted to get on board too to the Red Cross. They have an event in Fort Lauderdale every year called Dine and Dock, and we were part of their live auction. So we brought in a pot of mermaids, and we really riled up the crowd. I mean, we stirred them up real good.
Wow.
And we live auctioned off a half-day fishing, and we had it got down to 2 people bidding, and the ladies who won happened to be, female CEO of a local insurance company, Marcia McLennan.
Wow.
So Shannon Alfonso. Yeah, big shout out to Shannon. So yesterday we were able to get out on the Texas Wire Line. We left out of the Hillsborough Inlet, went a mile offshore with Shannon and her 3 guests, wonderful ladies, all very excited because they had not kite fished before. And we on a 4-hour charter, we hooked on to 2 sailfish, and these ladies, I am so impressed with them. They hung in there. They fought these sailfish. We got them up to the side of the boat. We got great photos, and we were able to release them before they suffered any damage. And it was just a great time. It was great to see people that aren't exposed to fishing all the time and certainly had not sailfished before get into the sails. And even the ladies who weren't fishing, they were so excited for their friends. So it was a great day. And Captain Tom, I can't say enough good things about him. He is a fantastic captain, knows the ultimate professional, had a great mate on board, mate Jeff, also another professional. Both these gentlemen have been in the industry a long time, and they never disappoint.
Wow.
Every time we go out, they never disappoint. It's always just a great time.
Go ahead, Pam. I know you. I can feel it.
Yeah.
No, I was
was
fascinated. No. I was fascinated. It was great. 2 things I want to bring up. I'm going to be in Pompano next weekend for a kayak sailfish tournament. So when we get off the air, I'm going to call you and find out what depth of water you were in. Get some intel. And secondly, I'm just north of you. I didn't realize you were in Sarasota. So I want to come visit y'all.
Oh, please do. Please do. I'm on both coasts, and I definitely would love to talk to you. I'll be in Pompano next weekend. I go back and forth a lot simply because our business goes over both areas, east and west coast of Florida. But that sounds like an interesting tournament there, kayak sail fishing. More about that.
If you're there, we launch at 7:30 both on Saturday and Sunday, right next to the pier, on the south side of the pier. And due time coming back in on Saturday, I think is 3 o'clock, and on Sunday is 2 o'clock, if I remember correctly. But yeah.
Oops, sorry. I was just going to ask you where the wrap up is for the tournament. Where are they having? Who's hosting the awards and everything?
I'd have to double check on that. I'll get back to you on that. I'm sorry, it just slipped my mind. But if you go to Extreme Kayaking, I think Joe Hector has a post up there.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely, we'll either see you off or see you when you come in, because we are literally adjacent to the fishing fleet there. Our condo's right there. So I'm looking forward to meeting you. Absolutely.
She's a very nice lady, Pam. You'll enjoy meeting her. I was a pleasure to meet her.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Any lady that's going to tackle a sailfish, I'm there.
Well, we'll welcome you back to the dock with a mermaid vodka cocktail. How's that sound?
Hot dog. I might show up for that. My goodness. How what's the word I'm looking for? How ironic? Maybe that's not the right word. But the guest that we had on before you, Carol, I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Simcoe. Do you know who that is?
I do. I was listening to Mike, and I had no idea about the different depths.
Isn't it crazy how he was talking about kite fishing, and then you come on and you were doing kite fishing? What are the odds of that?
I know.
So
I was thinking the same thing, because I had planned to talk about it anyway, just because it was so recent and so exciting yesterday. He really was very interesting to listen to, and so knowledgeable.
See, some of the things I like about some of the people that come on is they teach other people. That, to me, that is the greatest gift, that you spend your time, which is non-refundable. Once you spend that time, it's gone. You can't get it back. You spend your time with somebody and you teach them something. I have a lady that comes on, Betty Bauer, I think. I can't remember her last name. Bowman. She's with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. She teaches ladies how to fish. She takes the time, her time out of her life to show ladies how to fish, because as you're aware, and Pam is aware, ladies play a vital part of this, but they're not mentioned as much as the males are. And, you know, if you're married and your wife doesn't want you to go fishing, it's going to be a pretty rough day. So learn how to get your wife interested in fishing and get her out there. And, you know, both of you enjoy the same experience at the same time. I promise you it will help build your relationships. And that's really, for me, what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they used to always say, if you want to stay married, don't golf together. But I like to say, if you want to stay married, you definitely need to fish together, because it's a great time. You know, you're on the water. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, you're out there, and if you happen to have lady luck on your side and you catch some fish, there is skill involved, but there's also a little bit of luck. You know, it just makes it even better. It just enhances the experience.
True.
So.
It is a great time. I'm just going to say, if you ever do it in a kayak, don't have married couples in the same kayak. Don't get a tandem. It's two kayaks.
Is that when they do the roll thing?
Tandem bike.
Yeah.
Is that when they do the roll thing, Pam? When the kayak rolls over? When there's two of them in the kayak?
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, and especially one wants to go one way and one wants to go the other.
Oh, true. Yeah, okay. Oh, my goodness. Well, again, it's always so much fun when I have some of these guests on, and when we're having fun, the time flies. So we're up against that moment again. But before we go, Carol, any parting words? And if you would, give out your website if people are interested. By the way, we didn't mention it, but you can order. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, but you can order online, correct?
You can order online. We have a buy now, get hooked button on our website, mermaidvodkausa.com, and we will also very shortly be available for order on the Total Wine website.
Wow.
Total Wine brought us in. That was another exciting bit of news since the last time I was on. We are now in the Total Wine stores. They're turning every store on, one store at a time. So in about by the end of the month, we'll be in all of the Florida Total Wine stores and on their website, available for purchase.
Wow, congratulations. And the website?
mermaidvodkausa.com.
Yeah, you got to make sure you put the USA in there, because I went to look for them one time and I found somebody else. You got to make sure it's mermaidvodkausa.com. You can find them online. You can order online. And like she said, it's going to be in some of the retail stores here very shortly. Already started. So congratulations on that, Carol. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to call in. I wish you a wonderful day. Whether you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, if you're in Florida today, it is a gorgeous day. Go out there and enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Any parting words, Miss Pam?
No, I'm just excited to have her on and see the progress she's made. Well done, lady.
I'm very happy for her. Yeah. All right, Miss Carol, thank you so much. We're on to another break.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school. Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
I know.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're in it.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
L&M Radio Network, shining the light of truth 24 hours a day.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a very good morning if you're just joining us. It has been a very educational morning for me anyway, and one of the reasons I do this show, and I so much enjoy doing it, is I'm always learning, even at my old age. If you hear my kids talk about me, they would tell you that I was born in the days of dinosaurs. So even in my age, at 6.6, level 6.6, I don't go by age anymore. I go by levels. I'm at level 6.6, celebrated my birthday January the 1st of this year. And by the way, I just thought about it. This is our first show for 2019. My goodness, 2019. Can you imagine that? My mind still says 2018, but the reality is 2019. The time is absolutely flying by quicker and quicker. And one of the things that I like to stress to people is the family unit is under direct attack. There's no question about that. And we must do whatever we can do to hold our families together. And that's one of the reasons I do this show. It gives people an option. Take your kids out. I don't know who said it, put the Xbox down and pick up the tackle box. I think that was, can't think of his name. But that's really what it's about. We have technology around us 24/7. Even when we're sleeping, we have wireless running. We have cell phones next to us. And get away from the technology for a little while and enjoy, the surroundings. Why are we here in Florida? Because I know for me, the weather and the water. We have water, 3 areas around the state. So it's pretty hard to go somewhere and not see some degree of water. So enjoy that water while you're here. My guest this morning, as it's always an honor and privilege to have her on, is Pam Worth. She is one of the top female kayak anglers in Florida. She also went to tell me about this tournament in Louisiana where they found her the top again. Did you leave any fish for those poor guys?
Yes, I did. I threw some back. I'm not used to keeping fish. And in Louisiana, they don't understand catch and release. It's catch and eat. Exactly. So I'm looking at all these fish with this, also with Cajun rods, Eddie, the guy that I was with, just learning the lay of the land, as you could say. And we had like 7 redfish on the boat. And I said, okay, I'm going to throw this one back. He goes, what are you talking about? And I said, yeah. I go, look at all the fish we have. He goes, well, we can get some more. Because I think the limit is like 5 redfish per person, and it's something crazy like 12 trout or 20 trout. It's really crazy out there.
Wow. And
yeah, that was the championship for the IFA, the Inshore Fishing Association.
And
in
what
Grand
was
Isle, Louisiana. And it was a blast. If you ever have a chance to fish that area, it is a blast.
And before it was all said and done, they gave you an award of some kind.
Yeah, top lady inshore angler.
What I tell you guys,
Florida, for the East Coast and the West Coast. So that was pretty cool.
What I tell you guys, one of the top female kayak anglers, and there's the proof right there. It's just not my opinion. It's coming from a tournament. Good job, and congratulations.
Thanks. Had second biggest trout. Had to go against the big guys and ended up with second biggest trout. First time I've ever fished there. And they looked at me like, oh, my God, how did you do that? I go, lady luck.
And when you were fishing over there, I know you said about 90% of the time you use an artificial. Was it artificial again?
Yes, that tournament is artificial only. The Inshore Fishing Association, both the boat side and the kayak side, are artificial lures only, no live bait. The Florida Pro and some of the others, I think, use live bait or use cut bait, whatever you want to call it. But no, the IFA is totally lure only, which I don't know. I like that extra part. It's more of a hunt than a weight.
And the one you're going to in Pompano, again, is going to be artificial?
I am going to bring some artificial with me. The sailfish, I am going to use live bait. Usually I use gogs, goggle eyes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is going to be live bait.
Okay.
It's really cool. We basically Joe Bait from Hillsboro, we call him Joe Bait. Sorry about that. Hillsboro Bait brings the bait out on the boat, and we launch from the beach, go next to his boat, throw the bait into our live wells on the kayaks, and then at the start take off. It's really pretty cool. You have a live well on your kayak? Yes, sir, I do. Hot dog. Cool. Yeah, I kind of think of everything on those things. I'll drop by so you can see it. It's usually in my car when I pull up to the station. Mm-hmm. It's in the car, but yeah, I keep it right behind my seat. They have a multitude of different types. They have some that are like the big boats would have with changing water, pumps that irrigate the water. With me, I use Keep Alive system, which is an insulated live bait well, and I get bored on the water anyway, especially using live bait. You're just kind of sitting there drifting. Waiting. So I bring a pitcher with me, and I just 3 pitchers of water out, 2 pitchers of water on in. My live well is 12 gallons. Wow. So figure that weight. What is it, 8 pounds a gallon? Yeah, it's about 7 something per gallon. That's quite a bit of weight. Yeah, plus my big rear end. So it's and all the gear. From what you're describing, it's not one of those that sits in the water per se. It's its own container,
you're taking the water out,
Yeah,
you're putting
it's-
water in, taking the water out, putting water in.
Right. There are some, like I said, that go through your scupper holes that will bring water in and take the water back out, recirculate it. But that requires electronics, and I don't have a really strong level of success with any type of electronics.
Well, I can
I think I have
imagine
an extra
because you're so close to the water. The closer you are to the water, the more salt. The more salt, the more corrosion. And for electronics, corrosion is one of the worst things.
Yeah, the guys get theirs to work. For some reason, it's just me.
I am surprised how much you get on that kayak. I really am. Did you tell me you have a? Were you the one who has a depth sounder, or you had some other?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
if you go look at my Instagram, I've got a nice 30-inch redfish that I caught on your birthday.
Oh.
To celebrate your birthday, I caught a nice 30-inch redfish on an artificial. And then my last post was my boat set up to go offshore, and you can see the Lowrance depth finder right on the front of the boat. And that's Pamela K. Worth is my Instagram account, and that's excuse me, WIRTH.
Yeah, if it were WORTH, you probably wouldn't be here, right? Worth Avenue here in Palm Beach is one of the what would you call it? I can't think of it. Yeah, upscale places, very upscale, where you buy a dress for thousands of dollars or you buy a shirt for hundreds of dollars. So if it was Worth, you probably wouldn't be here. You'd be over there.
Nah. My husband's a good guy. He's a great guy.
Oh, my goodness. So the plan is this coming weekend, you're going to be down here in Pompano. You're not going to do a pre-fish. You're just going to hit it right off the bat. And you're going to be down there Friday or Saturday?
I'll probably come in either Thursday night or Friday. The tournament is a 2-day tournament on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be on the south side. We'll launch from the south side of Pompano Pier. So if you're at about 7:30 is kickoff, which means we'll probably launch between 6:30 and 7. Because again, we're going to go up, get our bait, get on the water, make sure everything's working okay. And then at 7, we go up to about the swimming buoys. And then at 7:30, it's like the old way they used to race cars, where everybody was at a standstill and then you shoot off.
Right.
And at 7:30, it's a takeoff.
Oh.
And it's really kind of pretty. All the different colored kayaks, how each one is rigged differently because everybody has a different personality, a different strength, a different weakness. I think Bobby's going to be there. Bobby's the Yak Rat. And that's what they call him. That's his Instagram account. And he kite flies. Matter of fact, a couple of the other guys use kites from the kayaks also. I need to get some lessons on that because I'm not. That's kind of like fly fishing. I'm not that talented. That's too many things going on at once for me.
I was always. I don't know why I had this vision in my mind that kite fishing was like a joke. It was like, oh, come on, you got to be real. You can take a kite and go fishing. I never really took it seriously until I met up with Mike, and Mike really took the time to explain to me how it actually exponentially changes the odds in your favor of catching fish. I had no idea. First of all, I thought kite fishing, you take one kite, you take one line, you put it up. I had no idea you could put 3 lines on a kite. I had no idea you could fly a kite low, you could fly a kite high, you can have your line down deeper, you can have your line up. I had no idea about any of that stuff. And the more that I talked to him, the more intriguing it was. Oh my goodness, this is really something that is that actually is completely opposite of what I thought it was. So if any of you out there are thinking that kite fishing is a joke, it's not. It really is. It's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy what you can do with a kite that I've come to find out. They have different kinds of kites.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, very intricate. Some of them, like what Bobby does, is he usually has a helium balloon behind his kite too, just to make sure he doesn't have a problem sailing it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you have that fish is hitting the top of the water like that, like flying fish that are jumping, and it gives the distressed fish / school of fish effect out there, and the predators can feel that through the water.
Wow. Well, all right. Well, it's magic time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't go away. We've got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. It is the Fish Florida Show with Pam and Riscala this morning, and taking a quick break. And before you know it, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise!
Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The views and opinions expressed on the L&M Radio Network solely belong to those who make them and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the L&M Radio Network or our affiliates and advertisers.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it. L&M Radio Network, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, a very good morning to you. If you're just joining us and you missed some of the show, you can always catch up on anything that you've missed on the archives. The archives are located at fishfloridashow.com, and they will more than likely they'll be up this afternoon. So anything that you missed, you can always catch there. I have Pam Worth. Pam is one of the top female kayak anglers with me. Always an honor and privilege to have her on. She brings a unique perspective to the fishing table, if you will. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning, Risco. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's always a pleasure to have you on, my dear. And I also have Captain Jay with me. I'll bring him on in just a moment. And I have Victoria. Victoria is, thanks to Victoria, we have the Fish Florida show. We have the Fish Florida app. I wanted Victoria to give us a quick update about the latest that's happening with the Fish Florida group. Good morning, Victoria. Tell us what the latest is real quick, if you would be so kind.
Good morning.
What's the latest with the Fish Florida group?
Well, actually, we've been working very hard. I was working hard all last year trying to put together, agreements with TV channels to take our products and put together a shopping platform. And somehow, through all of that, I put together a network of channels and came up with an OTT platform. So it's not just an OTT platform, it's more like a Viacom. We have over 300 platforms that we'll be broadcasting on, and all of our stuff on this network will be resonating through all of those networks. So we don't just have a shopping platform now, we have a whole OTT platform. So the Fish Florida show will become a live show at some point here very quickly. One of the things that's really important, though, for you at this point with your show is that anybody that's interested in becoming a sponsor, we're looking for a production sponsor for that. Mm-hmm. So not only will they help with the production sponsorship, but there'll also be a ton of marketing in place with that. So it would be really a great opportunity for anybody that would like to come on as a sponsor for the Fish Florida show.
Well, I want to say congratulations. You've done a tremendous job of increasing the network. We've gone from radio to almost like TV. And I'm looking forward to listening and hearing more of the phenomenal success that you've had. I wanted to bring you on for a moment and give us an update because we haven't heard from you in a while. And
actually, Riscala, OTT is a big thing. So TVs are being sold now with Roku already installed in them. I mean, there's going to be a point really, really shortly that, all of the TV sets will already be loaded on with OTT, which, I mean, at that point, why are we going to need cable?
Yeah, wow, my goodness. All right, my friend. Well, thank you. Happy New Year to you, by the way.
Happy New Year to you and everybody out there in the listening audience. And, we're so grateful for the show and the great work that you both do. And Pam does a great, great job. I'm just so thrilled to, have all of you and have everything that we put together.
Well, thank you, Victoria. I greatly appreciate it. Pam, any parting words?
No, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be a part of this. I really enjoy it, and I like the whole format. And all your hard work, Victoria. Thank you for getting that done and helping us move forward.
Greatly appreciate it, Victoria. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.
Great to be on this morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, my friend. God bless. Talk to you soon.
And God bless you all too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, as I mentioned earlier, one of my guests is Captain Jay Daughtry, and caught his post online. He caught a nice group of fish, and so I thought it would be nice to have him come on and kind of share with us how he did that. He caught some snappers. He caught a dolphin, and I think he caught something. I don't know what the other thing was. I can't see it in my mind, but want to say welcome and good morning and welcome to the show, Jay, and tell us a little bit about what that post was about. Are you there, Jay? Well, I can't hear you if you're there. For whatever reason, I can't hear Jay. I don't know why. Don't know what's going on. How about trying to call me back, Jay, and let's see if we can get you on, because I can't. Either that or you.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Hey, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
We're doing pretty good. I was just sharing with the listeners that post that you put up, and it is a copy of the post is on the Facebook page on the Fish Florida show. You can see what he caught. It was some snappers, it was a dolphin, and something else, I think, right?
Yeah, snapper, dolphin, grouper. We had a really good catch that day.
And what were you fishing live, or were you fishing artificials?
We were actually fishing bait and live both.
Oh.
And we were actually doing some deep drop on that day as well.
And that's where I take it that's where the bottom fish came up from. When you're deep dropping,
Yep, that's where I caught the snapper, the Vermilion snapper at.
when you're deep dropping like that, are you? I call it jigging. I don't know if that's correct. Where you drop the line down and bring it back out and drop the line down.
Yes, sir. Sometimes we do some deep drop jigs. That particular day, which wasn't but just a few days ago, we were actually doing some deep drop. We were deep dropping in 350 foot of water.
Wow!
Out of Stuart, Florida, out of the St. Lucie Inlet.
300 feet. So you weren't very far offshore, right? 300 feet off St. Lucie, a couple miles.
Yeah, we were 350 feet. 350 feet. We were at a point that everybody can find on their GPS or on their Garmin, Lowrance, Furuno, whatever unit they have. They can find it on their unit under Push Button Hill.
And when you're fishing that deep, how much weight are you putting on?
Anywhere from say 2 pounds to as much as 5 pounds, depending on the current. Now the current out there, it cooks, and I mean when I say it cooks, I mean it's really moving. It's moving at somewhere in the neighborhood of around 5 to sometimes up to as much as 7 knots.
Right. Yep. So the reason why I asked that is, let's say for example you have to put a lot of weight on, 5 pounds of weight going down. How is it that the fish is biting with all that weight on there? Can you feel it?
Oh yes, very much so. You'll be able to see. I'm using anywhere from a 3 to as many as a 7-hook chicken rig.
Oh,
and
okay.
Which is a multi-hook rig if I'm using bait, and you will definitely know because as soon as it hits the bottom, you can count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and if they're there, you'll know it.
I like that. Explain the chicken rig thing.
The chicken rig is essentially a large weight at the bottom, and just above it, in loop type droppers or single line type droppers, coming off of either 3-way swivels, which is in turn tied to a main line. Then we apply bait to either to circle hooks, and we just drop that to the bottom.
So you have 3 baits when you go down?
Anywhere from 3 to as many as 7 baits on one line.
Wow.
At one time, yes, sir.
That's almost like chumming and fishing at the same time, right?
It is almost like chumming and fishing at the same time. Now, we didn't have any that day, but on a norm, we catch tilefish, snowy grouper, scamp grouper, yellowtail grouper, Warsaw grouper, Vermilion snapper, American a red snapper, and I mean just a plethora of different fish that we catch out there, especially in that deeper water. That literally, if anything hits the bottom, everybody thinks, oh well, when the weight hits the bottom, it's going to spook them. No, actually, it does just the opposite.
Huh?
They come to it because for the most part, there's no sound on the bottom, just about.
Wow.
Other than the fish themselves, and anything it hits, anything that makes a sound, they come to it.
and you drop it down with up to 7. That's like a buffet for them.
Yeah, it can be, and sometimes. Oh, and no, don't forget we have the and I like to use the euphemism reef donkey. Mm-hmm. We also catch some rather large amberjacks out there.
Oh, wow.
Which are actually really good eating.
I've heard that it's just the backs of the amberjacks, or do you eat the whole thing?
Well, you can eat the
shoulders,
backs, but you can eat the whole thing. I love smoking amberjack and making fish dip out of them.
Wow.
They're wonderful.
Wow. Okay, Miss Pam, I hear you there. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, when you're deep dropping, are you using electric reels or are you cranking those all by hand?
Oh, no, I'm using electric reels.
I was going to say.
Oh, most definitely. Now, I mean, I do have some high gear ratio reels that I do use. And if somebody wants to do some deep dropping with butterfly jigs or some deep drop type jigs, the deep drop type jigs are almost a pound a piece. And when I put those down, I'm using essentially I'll take some dolphin belly strips and I'll sweeten the jig up with a dolphin belly strip, or I'll just use a part of a filleted bait fish like a grunt or something along those lines. Mullet works real good. Fresh cut mullet is by far the best that I've found out there.
You know, it's
Yeah,
something
I think anything eats mullet.
I don't see much of mullet anymore.
Everything does eat mullet.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I've fished mullet right beside literally good fresh squid that I caught the night before, being out on the reef, on one of the shallower reefs, and the squid would come up to the boat, to the lights on the boat, and we would catch squid hand over fist on these little squid jigs, and use fresh cut squid the following morning out on Push Button Hill, and by far the fresh cut mullet outfishes the fresh squid.
Wow,
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I know on the flats, a lot of people use cotton mullet. It's I think the smell dominates the water a little bit more than some other fishes or other baits.
Well, it's an oily bait. It has a lot of oil and what have you in it. And along those lines, any kind of fresh cut bait is fantastic. And then plus, if it can be, the skin also aids greatly in how tough it is for them to get it off of the hook.
Yeah.
That's important.
That does make a big difference.
Yeah, it does. I personally can attest to that. One of the reasons I like using it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the picture that you posted that I posted up on the page. Where did you catch those at? Did I lose you? Are you there, Captain Jay?
Are you there?
I think I lost him. Captain Jay, are you there?
Are you there?
There he is.
Captain Jay, you there?
There you are. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Kind of lost you for a moment there. The picture of the
okay.
snapper and all that, was that at the what'd you call it, the Button Hill? Was that caught there?
That was caught at Push Button Hill. Yes, sir.
And Push Button Hill is approximately how far offshore?
It's approximately 11 miles.
Okay, so it's a little ways offshore. I was thinking just a couple miles.
It's a little ways. It's 10 to 11 miles, give or take. And basically what it is, it's an underground seamount that it's surrounded by, on the western side of the hill, you're looking at only, maybe at the very most, 320 foot of water. On the eastern side of the mount where it drops off to 600 plus.
Wow.
And at the same as far as the southernmost tip of it, and you'll be able to see it on your GPS if you have it set to where you can see the bottom contours.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see it very plainly. It literally sticks out like a thumb, almost the shape of a thumb.
We are all out of time. Captain Jay, thank you so much for calling in. Greatly appreciate it. I'd like to have you back on. Go ahead, Pam.
I was just going to say, how do we reach Captain Jay?
You can reach me at any time by giving me a shout or contact me on my Facebook page at James Captain J. Daltrey, or give me a shout on my cell, 772-200-5037.
Thank you, Captain Jay. Thank you, Pam. On both of you, I wish you a wonderful day. Enjoy it. It's a gorgeous day out there. We'll be back in a week, my friends. Thank you for tuning in.
You got it. Thanks, guys.